Fun fact, you can have sex with a bear in this game.
Come over here, you have to wait 2 months for an appointment with a doctor, or you die.
And quite often these... the worst... Am I allowed to carry on? Am I allowed to say something? Women can't fight.
It's not COVID should have wiped out half the population, but didn't.
Another thing that 2.5 million could have been used for is...
Dingle games. Hello, people of the internet. We are the SureDiesAlot. We have some good topics to talk about tonight. So sit back and comfortable. I'm going to introduce the guys that are with me. Unfortunately, we have no R-Techz. He was too busy milking a cow and got carried away. So that's that. So next to me, I have Gem. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Gem. I'm just some dude, and we'll be recording Straight Up Warlords later on this week. As of recording, so we might have recorded it by the time it comes out.
Happy days. So there's that to look forward to, guys. And SD, do you want to say who you are and what you're about and your religious beliefs?
Yeah, I'm SD. I am shit at public speaking, as you probably can tell by now. Currently on the Twitter page, StreetUpBustas. Follow. I mostly get the tweets right. Thanks to R-Techz not being on tonight, it's not actually on Twitch. So my subject tonight is on top 3 highly anticipated games of 2023.
There's that. We're going to just kickstart off with me. My topic. It's a frustrating one, but at the same time, we're going to debate about it and talk about it, about how the British government have given Dorset £2.5 million to house the 500 immigrants that have come over to the United Kingdom. In my opinion, I don't think we should have done that. I think, we should look after our own before we start, we should look after our own before, starting to do shit like that. I mean, we got like British war veterans, homeless on the streets, but yet we're quick enough to house a load of immigrants to come over. I think it's disgusting, and I think our priorities are all wrong on that. But anyway, Gem, what do you guys think about it? Gem, SD, how do you feel about it all?
But the main issue with the immigration isn't just the money that's being spent on it, which, like, these people do need help. But the thing is that a lot of the time they're leaving their home countries because of war, famine, or being unjustly targeted by their government. But as soon as they reach the first country that doesn't have those problems, they should stay there. They're traveling halfway around the world to come here, which shows that they are looking for something other than just their safety.
I think it's a bit soft as well. We're too soft as a country.
That's it. And I think that's what we're too, we don't like to say no in this country, and we need to start putting our foot down to things like that, because before you know it, there's not going to be room for us British people to survive in our own country, because
there's already a housing crisis.
There's that as well, yeah.
I mean, they're not really here to escape war or famine. They're here for free handouts.
That's what and
to abuse people's kindness.
Yeah, I mean, because the United Kingdom, obviously, we have a system like unfortunately, if you can't work, you get paid benefits, and I think about, there's people that are on benefits now that are so comfortable not working, they get more money from benefits than they do an actual job. So they sit back and go, why am I going to get up in the morning when the government give me handouts? And we need to, something needs to be done. I mean, we're not going to stop it. Let's be real. 3 of us ain't going to stop that.
No.
But it's true though. The government put you in the position where you're so comfortable. You go, what the fuck's the point in going back to work when I'm getting paid more sitting on my arse than I was working?
It's true. I mean, I was working 50 hours a week, and I was pretty much getting minimum wage, and it sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard a story about somewhere up north. They're trialing this sort of universal income where they get given £1,500 a month to live on, basically, in free housing.
I mean, that's
I don't know how true it is or not, but there's like some kind of scheme where they're trialing it.
yeah.
But going back to the
Jen?
whole immigration.
Did you say £1,500 a month?
Yeah, I don't
That's-
know if it's true or not. I just heard the story. I don't actually know anything behind it.
That's more than I
But,
get. And I work in a fairly wealthy industry.
Yeah,
I did get a letter the other day saying they boosted my pay so that I am now at legal minimum age, so that
oh my god!
minimum wage.
but that's the thing, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
government. I can. What was it? I forgot what I was about to say. Go on, SD. What was you about to say? I'll come back.
Just to fire back to the whole it's refugee things. I know that Scotland, many northern parts of England, and even down the south, and Wales, shall I say, house refugees and welcome refugees from Ukraine in. So whatever somebody says, we're not racist in the sense, and we're not against refugees because they are.
It made sense for us to take on people from Ukraine.
From war.
that was understandable because there's a war going on.
Only women and children and men who can't fight, like literally men who are too old to lift a weapon.
And also,
all the men stay behind in their country, fight for it.
And also, they're quite close to us, so them crossing the rest of Europe to come here, it isn't as big of a journey as people from the Middle East, people from Central Africa, people from...
They even come through legal means, i.e. they filled out all the paperwork.
Yeah, exactly.
And agreed and brought them over to house them whilst their country fights off Russia.
So these are legal asylum seekers, and everyone was okay with it. In fact, everyone in the country was saying, we agree with this. Like, there was no one that I could tell in the country who was like, don't let the Ukrainians in. Like, everyone left out.
I'll mention it in a bit.
But yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, it's another thing. I know we're going on about the immigrants that are coming over here, but it's mainly aiming at the government now because
we sound like skinhead racists, don't we?
We do.
We
are.
There's a video on the internet of this, I think, refugees welcome march, and this bloke goes round with a clipboard. They put paperwork saying, would you like to house a refugee? Every single one of them said, no, I'm renting, or I'm not allowed extra people, or whatever. Not a single one said yes to housing a refugee in their home. Not one. And yet they're saying refugees welcome. So obviously not. They're not welcome because you wouldn't take them in.
But that's it. That's right. Yeah.
It's just like, well, you're either for it or against it. So you can't say, yeah, come in, whatever. But somebody else has to fucking deal with them. And usually it's some poor bloke walking down the street and getting attacked with two blokes with knives, which I happened in. Where was it? I've seen the video. I just can't remember where it is. It's somewhere in London.
I was going to say something about that. Thought not. I was going to say that doesn't surprise me.
They'll probably come across. They're probably white. I can't remember the skin color because. It sounded like a race.
You don't see race. That's why.
Yes,
they're all got like the hoods up and masks on and shit like that. I can't see what they look like, but they didn't say what color they were. And I didn't see any photos of them, so
it just
the English news likes to set a narrative where if they're of foreign race, they won't show them, but if it's white, they'll plaster it everywhere.
Yeah, it's
horrible too. It's just like, yes, we've already got enough cunts of our own in our country. We don't need more that. We don't need more cunts.
That's right. It's
the main issue is that anyone who legally goes through all of the routes to come into this country are fully entitled, and I think nobody will say those people are the ones we want to keep out, because they've done the paperwork, they've paid their dues, they've come over legally, and there's been things set up for them in this country before they arrive. It's the people that do come over illegally, which
on boats.
Like I sympathise with them. Obviously, they want the best for their family and whatever. But the fact of the matter is, if you're leaving your home country, the first country you go to, you stop at, the first country you get to, that doesn't have the same issues as your home country, that's the one you stay at until either the issues in your country are sorted, or
is that EU law? EU law states you must settle in the first safe country you reach.
probably.
Cheers.
I don't actually. I don't actually know if that's EU law.
I did see a video. It was.
I'll Google it.
There was a video of a load of immigrants coming over on like blow up boats, like banana boats and that, and there was a guy with a sniper just shooting them, shooting the boats.
Oh, you should see what Greece does to them.
What's that? What do they do?
The Greeks, they see the boats coming along them, and they've got soldiers popping off rounds at them. The boats turn around.
See, that's the thing. Other countries have got it sorted, and it's like
Poland fucks them off. They'll literally, they got their soldiers on the borders making sure these fuckers aren't coming in.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, if you come over illegally because you got family over there and you've done it by the books and fair play, but if you're just coming over, it's like they come over and literally there's a guy in a suit and he goes, right, there's all your benefits, there's a free house, live the life of Riley.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like with the cost of living going up, all these people that have to work their bollocks off, right? And the people that obviously are abusing the system are getting paid extra now.
Law.
Just so we're...
There is no obligation in a refugee convention that either explicit or implicit to claim asylum in the first safe country reached by refugees. I swear they've changed it.
They must have changed it, but the fact of the matter is that's how it should be. But just so we're clear, we do also recognise that there are white English people who also game the benefit system. We're not saying that all immigrants
that's right.
do that. We're not saying that white British people are perfect.
Have you seen that fucking benefit street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mental. That's bad, isn't it?
Or that Caught Red-Handed series, where it's like they find all the different fraudsters, not just benefit fraudsters, but also like, you know, other people who commit fraud.
It's people abuse the system, and you know, people can't go to work. They're ashamed to say they're on, you know, what do we call it, job seekers, in it, or has it changed again?
It depends.
When I was on job seekers, and I was going to the job centre.
Yeah,
and it's just I had my like nice phone. I was like, they looked at me as if I've got a really nice phone and saying, "Oh, you're on benefits." And it's just like, actually, wait a minute, mate. I've been working, and that's how I paid for this phone, and now I'm not working.
Yeah.
I'm just dealing with these fucking wankers at the fucking job centre.
I understand that some people generally can't work, and that's unfortunate. They have to, and I'm sure they would say, "Oh, I'd love to be working again. I wouldn't want to be on," because no one's. It's a pride thing, isn't it? And because so many people have abused the system, and they got that stereotype of a crackhead signing on, it just gives it like a bad name. So when someone says, "Oh, are you working?" you go. Some people just go, "Yeah, I'm working." Just to, you know, we've abused the system so much.
Yeah.
And we've given it a bad... It's meant to be there for us to fall back on. And now people are abusing it. And people are just making a mockery of it. And I don't know... But even my old man, granddad, said, you know, even back then, it's not as bad as it is now. But it's always been abused since the system's been in place. It's always, but I suppose with every system, it's going to get abused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
As soon as there is a way to get free money, there will always be someone who will do everything they can to get as much of it for as little effort as they can.
I know.
But
that's go on.
That's just the nature of
humanity,
society, and humanity. There will always be assholes.
I'm sure in America they have they get welfare, don't they? And if they're eligible for it and they're healthy and they can work, they're only given like a certain amount of time before the money just stops.
America is land of the dumb.
Yeah. But like I say, they get a strict time for when their money stops, and technically they have to look for work or they're screwed.
Yeah.
Over here, it's not like that.
Also in America, if you get a
point system,
if you're in America, you get a cold, and you go to the doctors about it, you're then in debt for the rest of your life.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Come over here, you have to wait 2 months for an appointment with a doctor.
Yeah, and there's always a chance that you make that appointment, and then during that week, just before that week comes up, the doctors go on strike.
Yeah, they go on strike, or you die. Depends on which comes first. I mean, if I ever become an MP or start my own political party, I'll name it Taxpayers' Rights. Because the way I see it is, if you contribute, you should get what you deserve.
Amen. I agree with that. Yeah. Totally agree with that.
Yeah, there should be like a base level for those who can't work. But I see it as these people who aren't working. Look at the streets. Go down this Paul High Street. There's fucking shit everywhere on the floor. Just send them down on bin bags and say, look, tell you what, I'll give you 10 quid every bin bag you bring back full of stuff. I guarantee the streets of Paul will be immaculate.
Yeah, no.
All these people go, I'm going to get 10 quid a bag. Fucking yes, I'm going to put loads of rubbish in it. Tell you what, I'll go down Bournemouth Beach after those fucking tourist wankers have been there. Fill the rucksack. I guarantee you could, if you got given a 10 quid a bag of rubbish, and you walk up and down Bournemouth Beach, you could probably go home with 500 quid in your pocket.
Oh, easy.
Probably, yeah.
On Bournemouth Beach.
Possibly even more.
If they did it that way, where they encouraged people to pick up trash or rubbish, whatever, and take it into a recycling centre or some kind of, I don't know, refuse centre, and got paid for picking up trash, I guarantee those people would be like, tell you what, I can't work, or, I don't know, I'm illiterate, but I can pick up rubbish, and I'm contributing to society, which is the right way of going about it, because then at least the streets would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
who actually do work.
People in the United Kingdom government are too soft compared to look at the likes of America. The streets in America are always crystal clear, clean. Every time I see a picture,
they're really not.
If it's a Democrat state,
have you seen pictures of Detroit?
I have not.
Or Chicago.
I think the United Kingdom, we're too soft of a country, and the more we're a pushover country. That's what it is. I believe we're a pushover. And I think we need to buck our ideas up and, be a bit more strict. Like in America, the welfare thing, I think that's brilliant because they only get I don't even know, I'll just say, for example, they get 6 months of welfare, but they get given a day when the money will stop. So they have to look for a job. Down here, all we do is go into a job centre. You don't even have to prove you've looked for a job. You just said, yeah, I've looked for a job, and they pay you. You know what I
mean? They expect you to put in so many job applications and many job applications a week or a month or something.
Yeah, I got sick and tired of it, so I went cash in hand in the end. But going back to the whole illegal immigration part.
Yeah.
If you come over on a boat and you're doing it illegally, you're subsidised. You're paying money towards these people traffickers.
That's right.
Yeah.
So in your act of paying, you're promoting being a criminal. Which
quite often these people smugglers,
they shouldn't be I don't know, 10 years and a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
People traffickers should be put in prison for life.
Amen.
See the light of day because they're like, well, they're petting all these people that some have genuine reasons to come over, and they're putting them at risk that they may die. It's like that boat who capsized and I don't know, fucking 70 people drowned. It's just like, well, why aren't the people traffickers being held accountable? It's because they're criminals and they have no idea, or they're in the pockets of the local government with where they're coming from.
I mean,
there's too much corruption going on because obviously someone's getting paid to let this carry on. It has to be benefiting someone.
Am I allowed to carry on? Am I allowed to say something? The worst part is that a lot of these people trafficking gangs will then turn these people into like modern day slaves. So they'll be like, "Oh, you owe us this much more money, so now you have to work for us for free, and we have earned that much money from your work." And quite often they make it out that the stuff that they do, quite often what they do is either turn them into like the household slaves of their friends and families, friends and family criminals, or they get them into doing other criminal activities such as drug smuggling or that kind of stuff. And so then they're then away from the crimes, and so you're then increasing the amount of criminals in the country, and quite often then they're being forced to the life of crime, not willing participants. If we stop all the illegal immigrants coming into the country and track down all of these people smugglers, we would massively decrease crime in this country. Not because I'm not saying that people are being smuggled into the country are criminals, but quite a lot of the time they're being forced into being criminals because there's they're not supposed to be anything in this country to support them because they're not supposed to be in the country.
Isn't the UK like overpopulated anyway? I don't know if it is or not.
It's close to being so, I think.
Well, give it another 10 years, we will be.
I believe it's either we're close to being overpopulated or we're already exceeding the amount that we can produce in this country, hence why we're importing from elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much, my thoughts on what you guys thought about it. It was, I think, we ran over that one?
So we didn't actually get down to like having the whole 2.5 and having 500 illegal immigrants housed offshore on a giant boat. I mean, it's quite ironic, really, that they come over in dinghies and they're going to live on a dinghy.
We've got those old.
Right, tell you what I'd like to happen is,
go on,
for them to live on this barge, and one of the stupid cunts to set the damn thing on fire. I mean, it sounds horrible, but in a case of they're biting the hand that feeds, and we can't really say, "Oh, it's some white racist fault." It's their own fault.
I'm sure there's going to be someone out there that will still blame it on white racism.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do. You could be green, black, blue. It's just the principle of it. We're quite a comfortable country, and the government seems to just want us to. I just swear they're just leading us to more struggles in the future because the cost of living's gone up, and bringing all these people over. What's that?
That's corporate profits that are driving inflation up.
Yeah, and the housing problem as well. And
I mean, I've googled something. It says crime rate to immigration, and what I've asked is, has crime increased in UK due to immigration? So, the foreign-born share of population is unrelated to violent crime, according to most recent research findings, which makes no fucking sense to me.
It's not related to violent crime quite often, it's other crimes, but yeah.
As 1% increase in asylum seeker share of the local population is associated with 1.1 rise in property crime. So 1% are causing 1.1% rise in property crime. So
someone we know would point out that correlation does not necessarily mean causation. But
we didn't actually cover. I was about to say we haven't actually covered the barge situation yet. I mean, did you hear about the protest in Portsmouth, Weymouth, Portland protest? It was peaceful, obviously. Against the barge being put down there.
Bloody hell!
I can understand why, because they have a beautiful sea town. It's a beautiful sea town, a beautiful Portland area. They don't want the view of the sea to be marred by a permanent fixture of a barge out there with people on it who may or may not give a shit about where they live.
Yeah. I mean, what I find ridiculous is, I know, 2.5 million to the council or the government, whatever, seems like a piss in the ocean. But probably 2.5 million to lower our council tax rates.
Yeah.
The people who live and work in Dorset. That would make more sense to me. Even if it goes down to like 10, 15 quid less a month. That'd be amazing. That'd be great for me. That'd be great for...
It'd be a start, wouldn't it?
Owners, renters, that sort of thing. But no, they decide to spend it on some...
That 2.5 million could have been spent on the NHS to make it a better service. That 2.5 million could have been spent on the police to give them tools that they need and more boots on the ground to catch criminals. 2.5 million could be spent on the fire service to make sure they have up-to-date gear and up-to-date training.
The fire service has taken the largest hit. There used to be like hundreds of firemen in Dorset, and now there's like only like a handful. I mean, a friend of mine works for the fire service, but rather than like a full, I don't know, station of, I don't know, 10 men, 10, 15 men, whatever. Of like, actually, no, it's not 10, 15 men. It's something like 6 men to a fire engine, but it's gone down to like maybe 3. And it's just like, well, we've got people in the fire service cutting people out of cars or stopping fires and whatnot, but they'd rather spend it on this. It's just like, help the people who live there rather than the people who are illegally there.
Yeah, this is what I mean by like, the priorities are all wrong.
Yeah, help the contributors rather than those who wish to leech off the state.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
All benefit claimers are like.
Oh no, there are people that genuinely need to be on it.
Again, another thing that 2.5 million could have been used for is
Dingle games.
Oh yeah, obviously, but I meant it could have been used to help homeless people get houses, or at least get them off the streets into some form of accommodation, rather than paying for these people that have illegally swept into the country to try and again. I sympathise with them for the plights that they're trying to escape from. But the fact that they've
traveled 4,000 miles to a country of fucking benefits.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, if you've come this far away from your home country and you live Middle East, Central Africa, or wherever that's stupidly far away, and you've illegally travelled all the way this way, then you should be ready to be rejected.
That's
you're doing it illegally. if you did it legally, or you
Go
went to the
to
first
Germany.
country. Yeah,
Go there.
Germany don't like them. Germany will force people out. But you go to the first country that you'll be safe in, and then you decide, I still do not feel safe this close to my home country. I'll go to an embassy of another country and try to legally get passage there. Then, as long as you've done your due diligence and everything, we'll accept you with open arms. If you truly feel like the safest country is here, but if you get to the first safe country and you are safe, then you should stay there.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, do you know what Australia does? Australia gets these boats coming over. They put a hook round them and drag them back where they came from.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. It's just like, I've had enough of your shit.
Yeah, it's like this is why I think the United Kingdom's government are too. They're scared of getting a bad name. This is why they say yes to everything.
What we've got is a generation of entitled arseholes who think they know better, but in reality, what they're doing is highly damaging a safe country that will turn into a shithole, in Trump's words.
Yeah,
Shithole country. And if you don't agree with them, you're racist, homophobic.
Yeah,
exactly.
All the other fucking words, and it's just these woke retards that don't quite understand that.
Yeah, it's
these people from these Middle East countries are against all kind of gay, trans, weird shit. They will literally behead you.
Weird shit.
I mean, they
Nice
will
word.
behead you and kill you, and yet you're trying to protect them. Your existence is against
Yeah.
their book of. I mean, I'm not saying like Christianity. I don't know, fucking the Torah, the Jews and shit like that are any better. I'm just saying, in religion in general is fucking retarded. It makes no sense to me because it's all about little men, written by little men who had no idea where the sun went at night and thought the fucking planet was flat.
The flat Earth conspiracies.
I mean, fuck religion in that sense.
Yeah, I think religion is cancer to the world. I think without religion, there'd be no wars.
And it's
My
just
God's better than yours.
Once again, this episode is going to be called The Imperial Truth, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incompatible.
Which one of us is the God Emperor of mankind?
I mean, I'm not saying go communist and everyone's the same kind of thing, where everyone gets free houses even though people have to build those houses, so the builders have to suffer. It's a case of we need capitalism, because in capitalism, anyone can be rich if they work hard enough and if they're smart to get rich. And if they benefit of ripping someone off, quite fairly, they deserve it. Because that person they ripped off shouldn't have let them. So,
get rich or die trying.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. In that sense,
it's a frustrating topic. I know
it doesn't make sense to me of giving housing to those who should fight for their own country.
Wait, what?
And I mean, it's fighting age men that are coming over.
Yeah,
and quite often they're that age men, but they're claiming they are younger.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Very, very, very disgusting.
Just like, carry on.
It's a hard one because I understand why but to be fair, I believe they probably are coming over here to escape something, but I also believe that majority of them are coming over here because they've seen our system and gone, we could abuse the shit out of that, and they do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Ukraine where it's all women and children coming over because obviously they can't fight, and the men are staying behind. That's genuine refugees.
Yeah.
But if you're
it's sexist of you to say that women can't fight.
Well, okay, they have a more patriarchal lifestyle in Ukraine, as far as I know, where obviously women stay at home or teach kids or whatever, that sort of thing, and the men fight.
I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is,
Eastern European women are just as hard as most men you'd find in Britain. Just saying.
Yeah, but if you were a woman, right? If you were a woman in Ukraine, they said, "Tell you what, you can pick up a rifle and help us fight, or you can take a safe flight to, I don't know, fucking Poland or Germany or England. Which one would you choose? Getting shot at or flying the other way?"
Oh, I'd fly the other way, to be honest.
Come on.
I'm being honest. I'm just saying that people specifically say that women can't fight is sexist. I get giving them the option, especially if they're mothers to children. The mothers to children should go.
The sole carer of the child should go.
Yeah.
And the thing is, these women could get raped. I mean, yeah, the men get raped too, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. But women are more likely to get raped by these soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
charming.
It's like refugees. It's like genuine refugees. Yeah, come over, happy days, go through the legal means. Illegals who are men of fighting age should be sent back to an unknown location in their home country.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Problem is we can't send them to their home country because that would be against their human rights. But we should send them to the closest safe country.
Yeah, but what about the human rights of the UK?
No, I'm not saying we don't send them back. What I'm saying is we send them back, but to a safe country that isn't here.
Yeah, because we're getting overpopulated and we can't keep doing it.
I mean, COVID should have wiped out half the population, but didn't. I mean, I don't know why they hyped up COVID. I mean, people are dying of secondary infections.
That was just
when they were like they could have a car crash in London and they were brought in and they'll die like fucking 4 days later of COVID, which I think is purposeful hit.
Quite often was the case
to drive the narrative.
At the start of COVID, when a lot of people were dying from COVID, was a case of they had other issues but had caught COVID in the hospital, so that when they died, they were marked down as dying from COVID. But what actually happened is they died from other things, either complications due to other things that were affecting them, or the original thing they went into hospital for.
You could get shot in the head and it would be put down as COVID.
If you were shot in the head, but you were tested positive for COVID, you would be put down as died from COVID, not died from GSW to head.
God damn.
You know that less than 1% of the population of England, well, the UK, should I say, died of COVID. Less than 1%. And they picked it up as a global pandemic. Excuse me, flu kills more people than that.
Yeah, but that's not how many people actually generally die a day anyway. So it's like, no.
In fact, the only reason that people didn't die as much is because they weren't allowed out. So they weren't allowed out to be stupid and decide to do dumb shit, like jump from building to building, or I don't know, drive their car really fast for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Basically.
But yeah.
I mean, come on.
But that's
we haven't actually discussed the barge.
The barge.
The barge itself just seems like a stupid idea anyway. I don't see there's much area in that to discuss.
I agree with Jem there. I don't really.
A barge of 500 people getting free money. Where's mine?
Yeah, like if you put in, you should get it back, like a tax refund.
You get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, put in, you get but it doesn't seem to work like that in the United Kingdom.
But it doesn't work like that anywhere anyway. Because if you're rich, you don't need to put in as much as poor people. Everywhere taxes the poor more than they tax the rich. and the
It's
rich
because
then find
the
their
rich
ways
don't
to
own it.
avoid as much tax as possible, and then they go around. Well, actually, I am poor.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's the
fuck
thing.
off.
The rich don't actually own anything. It's a business asset, so it's part of the business. So you can't tax the individual because he doesn't own it. The business owns it. Now, the business is money. The money which the bank owns, which in turn the World Bank owns.
It's
So
like
they
a
don't actually own anything.
it's like a
They're-
recycling thing going on.
Pushing money around. Like, for instance, if I was rich and I bought a Bugatti Veyron, I wouldn't buy it with my own money because I would have to pay tax on that money. So what I do is I buy it as a business asset, drive it around for a bit, and then sell it on or write it off in taxes, which then I get back.
Basically, the way I understand it, how Elon does it is, I don't know whether the way that he does it is the same across the board or whether other people do it in different ways, but basically what he does is that whenever he needs to buy something himself, he borrows money from his company. So he doesn't actually have any assets, but he borrows money from the company so that he then buys his own assets. So if he wanted a Bugatti Veyron, he would take some money out of the Tesla account and use that to pay for it. Now he's in debt to Tesla.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so then he pays it back through the wages that he pays himself by reducing his wages by that much.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But
It's the reason why private businesses, say Wessex Water or Thames Water, if Thames Water ever went under, it wouldn't be the CEOs that would have to pay for it. It would have to be the bank or the British government who has to pay the liquidation fees or take it over.
Exactly.
Because it's the business, not the person who owns Thames Water.
Yeah.
right, wow, we've ran over topic on this one. We've gone on for a bit.
Yeah, let's go on to a bit more
Positive side of it all now. So yeah, SD, you're gonna hit us up with some games. Let's go for it, boy. Yeah. So guys, let's discuss it then. I will go. I gotta admit, the first game stole my heart. The other two, I mean, the last one, I'm not. What do you call that gameplay? Is it strategy game?
It's so it's based on the old CRPGs, computer RPGs.
Yeah.
Obviously, as it being a sequel to one of the oldest ones, Baldur's Gate is obviously the second sequel, so it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
So basically it's based on Dungeons and Dragons rules.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate is a sort of thing in that. So if you've played Knights of the Old Republic or other like RPGs like that, where you line up things and set them off, and then it's sort of like based on dice rolls sort of thing more than anything else.
Oh, I see. I get it. Yeah.
As your character gets better, they then have a better chance of doing stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still a chance.
I got I would say the first one was it Scarfield? Is it Scarfield?
Starfield, yeah.
Starfield. That was just. I mean, in games, I love like in Fallout 4, stole my heart because the customization, and I love the fact you can go from third person to first person. I love that when they do that in games. I actually believe that I'm going to put that on my list to get. I'm going to get that game.
I really hope it's not on the Creation 2 engine. I'm hoping it's like on the Unreal engine.
Unreal Engine, yeah.
But
I have a feeling the Creation 2 engine is an upgrade to the Creation engine, so it might be better than the old engine. It does look like it's a better engine than it was before.
Because there was so much to that trailer we just watched, and I hope it lives up to it. But obviously, I'm gonna watch some game. Well, actually, I don't know if I'm gonna watch gameplay because I don't want to ruin it. I can't win. But yeah, the first game did it for me. The cross-platform one seemed a bit too fast, but mind you, I say that. I mean, with Doom Eternal, that looked fast-paced for me, but when I played it, I got into the rhythm of it. But yeah, I would say out of the three, number one is on my list. But yeah, your thoughts on them all?
We did miss out on Super Mario Bros. But it's only because it's a fucking Nintendo game, and
Oh no, Nintendo's not that bad.
Past 25 years, simply because I remember playing the old Mario game on my sister's handheld Game Boy.
Oh yeah, classic.
For me, that was Mario. But all these other, all the new Mario stuff, it's not the same kind of, I don't know, the childhood rose-tinted glasses, that sort of thing.
To be fair, the first Mario game came out on the NES, so technically console-based Mario games are the real deal, and handheld console Mario games are, not. But I get what you mean. Like you're so used to the 2D aspect to it, so these 3D Mario games are different.
It just reminds me of the Mario Kart thing where it has catch up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but most racing games have catch up.
But anyway, go back to it. Probably. Who's next? Gem, is it?
Yeah. I'll talk next. Yeah. Starfield. I was already looking at it because, to be honest, however much I criticize Bethesda for the way that they act, with like they make these games, they leave all these bugs in it, and just expect the consumer to fix it, and then the consumer does fix it, and then they go, "Oh, it just works." And it's like you are deliberately not fixing your game and leaving it in a fixed state, and then acting like that's okay because people will come around and fix it for you later. It's not okay. You really need to release a finished product. But at the same time, the products they release are so good despite the glitches and everything that I often find myself buying the games anyway, which I know I shouldn't. If I'm going to criticize them, I shouldn't give them my money, but I still do. And it's my own thing. Is something that I have done. I have spoken with my wallet before and said I'm not going to buy any more games from this franchise or this publisher because I don't like the way that they do things. So, but I probably will buy Starfield, and from the looks of things, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I just hope that if there are bugs in this game, they are all very minor ones, and I don't have to deal with them. And hopefully, they do get patched out quite quickly if there are any in there.
Do you reckon there'll be mods in it?
That's the thing. Because Bethesda are owned by Microsoft now, I don't know whether there will be.
I like mods.
I imagine on the PC version, because you can't really avoid mod makers on PC.
Mm.
The PC version will have mods, no matter what. But the console version, because Fallout 4 on consoles was able to have a mod menu, and then they also did. What was it? Whatever it was that they did with the Fallout Cash thing, and you bought the mods that were made by the mod creators like Eleonora and that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that's right. Yeah.
Personally, I don't believe in, but I believe that modders should get paid for the work that they do, but only by the people that choose to pay them.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
They do produce stuff. They should really be earning money for it, but but the way that Bethesda did it was a bit like iffy. But I don't know whether Microsoft will carry it on. I would wait to hear from them about that. I'm not gonna make any assumptions, but I imagine that with the way they did it before with Skyrim and Fallout, that they'll probably still have those mod creators in their back pockets. They're probably already making mods for this game if that is going on. So player housing and specific spaceship upgrades are probably being made by Eleonora right now. Same with all the other ones being made by the other people. Eleonora is just the only name that's stuck in my head for some reason. She made a lot of player housing.
Nice.
As for Hollow Knight, I never really played the first game, so I don't really know. All I know is that it's a Souls-like and Metroidvania style game, and I think this is a prequel to the original Hollow Knight because, again, you're playing as the final boss of the original game. So it's like that character's story that's sort of like, because you meet them in this form a few times in the game, and then they're in a different form at the end of the game. I know that much. It looks interesting. It's not really my thing though, so I probably won't be getting it.
Yeah.
Then finally, Baldur's Gate 3. I am a Dungeons and Dragons nerd as much as I'm a Warhammer nerd. So I will probably get this. The only reason I haven't got it already is that it was in sort of like early access on PC. And so I had the same thing with this as I have with Star Citizen, which is I'm not going to put money in on it until a finished product is released, because if Star Citizen is the perfect example for this, where the more money that was being put into it, the more stuff was being put onto the developers to make, and so then the game was being delayed further and further and further afield. So I'm glad that this game is coming out. I'm glad that I actually know what the story is now, which is, it's a weird thing that that's the story they're going for, considering where the game starts. You'd think that they want you to figure out the whole thing that's going on with how the game starts, rather than doing that, but oh well. And I'm looking forward for its final release, where I will probably buy it then and play it.
Smashing it out.
I've heard good things about it.
Nice.
But I'm still waiting for a Lizard Man race and a Scout Rogue class.
Nice. Yeah.
Because that's my first character, and I'll be damned if I'm not playing my first ever D&D character in a D&D game.
Well, yeah, it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Mathis, you will live.
That's it. You will carry on his legacy.
And not just as arguably the most powerful god in our D&D campaign at the moment, because somehow he managed to pull shit out of his ass, despite the fact that he's been dead for like 2 months.
No,
and only has 2 followers of his religion where he's the god.
He's got more followers than us. That's that. So SD, what do you think? What do you think about the 3 games that you showed us?
Star Citizen. I can't wait to play it. To be fair, I really hope it isn't one of these games where it's going to be 80 quid on my hard-earned cash. You know, I mean, not everyone's made of money. I'm hoping it doesn't have too many bugs, but if it does, down to the modder community, they're going to fix it in no time. I mean, I have unofficial Fallout patch, a Fallout 3 patch, unofficial Fallout 4 patch, unofficial Fallout New Vegas patch.
Great own collection.
So, yeah.
Just so everyone knows, he didn't make them.
Yeah, I didn't make that. And I'm really hoping that they're not tying loading screens to FPS, because I know Fallout 4 was absolutely hideous for that.
Yeah, it was.
Where I got a mod that literally quadrupled the FPS rate of the loading screens, just so I wouldn't have to wait 2 to 3 minutes for the fucking thing to load. Which I thought was a really shit thing for Bethesda to do by tying them together. It made no sense to me whatsoever, so I'm hoping Star Citizen with the Creation 2 engine doesn't do that. Mainly because, well, not Bethesda, Microsoft are in charge. And, Microsoft most of the time gets things right. So I'm hoping they pull that off. On the terms of the... Where's it gone? Where's the other bloody game? Hollow Knight. It really reminds me of like the old school Sega games, where it is that 2D, like Revenge of Shinobi. I mean, a little aspect, it is slightly like, again, Mario. Bring it back to the old school game. I don't know if I'll buy it or not, but it's definitely something I would play.
Yeah.
Going on to the next one, Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't actually played any of the previous games because obviously this is the 3rd edition. And I haven't played the other 2.
I mean, it's based on 5th edition rules, not 3rd edition.
Like Dungeons and Dragons, and it's roll of the dice situation. I don't actually like turn-based games. I don't get on with them whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not quite. It's not. It's a different sort of turn-based as well because it's character-based rather than like team-based.
Oh, okay.
So when you get into an encounter, it then rolls initiative for everyone. So you might have a party of like 6 people, and you might be facing off against like 8, 10, people. It could be that all 6 of your characters go first, or it could be that all 6 of your characters go last, or you might have one of your characters go first, 3 or 4 of the opponents, then a couple more of your characters, then 3 or 4, and then so on. It's that sort of system, and so it's it's a thing. It's very difficult to explain because the idea is that the actions that you pick happen within 6 seconds.
Oh, okay.
In reality, they're all things that are happening at exactly the same time. Like one round of combat is stuff that's happening in 6 seconds, but because of the consecutive nature of it, it's then sort of feels more like, okay, this person's acting for 6 seconds, and this person's acting for 6 seconds, and this person's acting for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And when you're playing it on like the actual tabletop game, normally what we do, like the party that the group that I'm with, we try to make sure that people know what they want to do beforehand, so that when it comes on, it does feel like there is a flow to the combat. But sometimes you can't. avoid it. Like, say someone does something that completely disrupts what you were planning on doing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Say like, one of the main things that people can do that disrupts what you are planning on doing in the tabletop is casting darkness, which is a great spell, apart from when you put it on a group of people and then the rest of your party are all close range fighters and they have to get into that group.
Yeah. I think I gotta get what you mean.
Because magical darkness, you can't see through even if you have dark vision unless you've got magical dark vision.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah. So if you cast darkness on a group of people, but then the rest of your party are all like people with swords and shields and they're close enough that they can run into the darkness to fight, but then they're completely useless because they can't see.
I see.
And so then they have to change what they're planning on doing. Because, again, this dome of darkness is over them. You can't, like, shoot them with arrows or throw things in there because you can't see.
Yeah. I get it. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. I suppose we should start wrapping up then, because we've been... Yeah. So, yeah, Gem, final thoughts?
Final thoughts? The first topic, I think we were all in fairly close agreement with how it should... spending that money on that is not necessarily a waste of money, but it's money that could be better spent elsewhere, and that illegal immigrants should be sent back to the closest safe country to their home, or in the case of SD, sent straight back to their home.
Yeah, pretty much. Make their own government deal with them. I mean, instead of making our government spend millions of pounds having to fucking house them.
Unfortunately, their own government will probably shoot them, but you know.
Well, it's their own fault, really, isn't it?
As for the video games, again, they all look great. I'm probably going to buy 2 of them. Probably won't buy the third one. No, the middle one. But yeah, they were definitely interesting to talk about, and I think I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what everyone else does with them in the future. If no one else is, I will. When I get Baldur's Gate 3, I might do a playthrough of it myself.
Do it. So we want to see.
August 2023. That's being released.
But yeah, that was Gem's final thoughts. SD, go for it.
Yeah. Our first subject to the whole migrant barge. It really is a hard one, because how can you put across a point without sounding, I don't know, racist or homophobic? Not homophobic, but you know what you mean. Like,
yeah, I know what you
mean. Yeah, we get what you mean.
How can you do that? I mean, it's really hard for white people to have an opinion because they get labelled with all these labels, you know, racist and blah blah blah. They end up kind of being like the Britain First racist movement. And it's just like, well, I know these subjects affect me. I know that for a fact that more people from other countries who don't necessarily fit into our way of life or our civilized society, or how we behave, they don't quite get that, because in their country certain aspects are okay to do. Well, certain things are okay to do, but in our country it's wrong to do. I wouldn't say put them into re-education centres like China does, but I'd say, just to boil it down, the legal immigration, say the refugees from Ukraine, that's great because they're filling out all the necessary paperwork, so we know they're there. But if untold amounts of migrants are coming over on dinghies. We don't know all of them, like how many there are, who they are, what background, what country they came from, their criminal history. I mean, I'm worried that one day I'll be walking down the street and one of these fuckers decide to go, yeah, fuck this particular white person today. He can't do anything about it, otherwise he gets called racist. I mean, that's one of my fears, because what can I do if I beat him or her or it, whatever you want to call themselves? Most likely him or her, because obviously that's their religion and they don't see other genders. That if I defend myself, I am then subjugated to, oh, you're a racist, or you're a fucking Islamophobe, or that sort of thing. And it's just like, I want this country to be safe, and for a safe haven for genuine, asylum seekers. It's just those who wish to either knowingly or unknowingly perform harm towards my fellow countrymen. That's what I don't agree with. And that's what's really hard to talk about this subject, because in the liberal sense or woke sense, I'm the wrong colour. Or I don't know, I don't understand because I'm white and I'm privileged. Which I believe white people are more oppressed than any other race has ever been, thanks to this woke culture. That's just sort of really hard to have an opinion on it. But obviously, this subject probably could be done to death, and it could go on for months. So if I really, really boil it down, if you're willing to go, well, this is my point. If you're willing to go the mile, fill out all the necessary paperwork, jump through all the hoops, you're more than welcome. But if you're that one arsehole that decides, oh, I'm going to hop on a criminal boat, carry some drugs, knives, whatever, and then generally assault the population, fuck you. Fuck you. That's my final thoughts on that. On to tonight's gaming. Starfield looks really like an amazing game. It's a bit of Mass Effect, Fallout, Elite Dangerous. A few of the games chucked in. I'm really hoping they don't tie the loading screens to the FPS. I'm hoping they really don't make it too expensive to buy, because obviously if a game's £80 or £100, not many people's going to buy it. They're going to wait a while before the price drops. I'm a firm believer that in digital content, obviously without the physical disc or the manufacturing of discs, there should be a discount on it. But obviously today's, they don't actually do that, which is a bit, well, game developers are a bit of an arsehole, to be fair.
Don't worry, if it comes out on PC, it'll be on Steam, and it'll be in every Steam sale.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Going on to Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight's what? Silk
Hollow
Song.
Knight, Silk Song. That really reminds me of Revenge of Shinobi when I think I must be about 7 or 8 years old on the Sega Mega Drive. The 2D combat and Street Fighter style kind of thing. Obviously, with weapons, this situation. Maybe have a little bit of Mario in there. Actually looks like a really fucking hard game to do. It's all about timing. Probably has Asian mode on it. I won't be surprised. Oh, it's absolutely fucking impossible. It looks like a really
developed by a Western company.
Yeah, that was the joke. Asian mode, because obviously Asians can beat games really easily because they're Asian.
Actually, fun fact.
You're ruining the joke. Screw you.
Fun fact: Asians don't actually like difficult games.
Really?
They really don't.
Okay, skipping over that to Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't played previous to. I don't generally like turn-based games because I like to live in the moment. But obviously, if you enjoy playing turn-based games, good on you. It's pretty much
Good on you.
It's pretty much like Fallout 4's, what is it called? Critical hit meter, where there's a percentage of you would take, or the enemy would take critical damage from your shot, and there's like this. It's all down like luck and whatnot. But obviously, this game's obviously rolling dice. It looks like a really nice game. Turn-based is not for me, but I'm sure a lot of people who enjoy turn-based will actually get a lot out of it. So that's my final thoughts on that.
Nice. Well, yeah, my final thoughts. I mean, the first topic, it's a hard one to discuss. And like SD said, you could go on months and months talking about it. I just feel like the government are pushed over. And on the game front, that Starfield, that is in my list of things to get. So that's my final thoughts on it. We follow us on all our social medias. We have Twitter, which is the
ThaStr8UpBustas.
Our
and there's
Reddit.
also the SureDiesAlot Gem on Twitter as well.
SureDiesAlot Gem. Gem's got a thing on YouTube at the moment. The Straight Up Warlords. Go check that out.
That's also on the SureDiesAlot YouTube channel.
Yeah, and we've got a gaming channel, Dingle Games, where we're all over there playing games and having a laugh. Go check that out. And yeah, we've been the Straight Up Busters, and we will see you, mother lickers, in the next one.